Hey, welcome back to my channel, Vast13. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Hey, welcome back to Vast13. So, this is going to be that two-part video that I mentioned in my last one. And it's going to be about 90 Day Fiancé, the last resort. So I've been watching the series for a long time, a lot of different iterations of 90 Day. And this one just made me want to make a video on it. It's a lot of couples, throughout the whole entire series that have had a lot of insanity. But in this one, it just, they took it to a whole other level. It's insanity. So I want to just, discuss the overall of what I thought of the actual series, this season, I should say, and then discuss each couple as I see them. The things I want to say about this season, I felt that the the therapists were not that helpful, to be honest with you. There was a lot of exercises that really didn't do much in terms to really help. A lot of these couples. I felt like it was just like more of a like a friend vacation. That's what I felt like this was, and I guess maybe that's what they're really going for on this show. But I didn't feel like the therapist did much as to help a lot of these couples. There was like one therapist in particular that kind of made things a lot worse for another couple. But I'll cover that therapist, as I cover that couple. Yeah, it was just a lot of strange little exercises. This kind of like why I'm not really a huge believer in the in couples therapy. I'm more of a one-on-one individual therapy that I believe that can work, but couples, not so much. It's just like I feel like it's just too many minds trying to solve problems that should be solved between just the two that are truly involved. So there was just like exercises of like walking, going on hikes while carrying a lot of the rocks, and on the rocks they had to write down problems in their relationship, and if they could let it go, then they could leave the rock behind. But if they couldn't, they had to keep it in their backpack and keep walking. It's a nice little idea, but it's just it doesn't truly solve anything. And at the end of the day, these people needed to truly talk with one another and see where they can go with one another if they take certain actions, and then start doing those actions. But it wasn't that. It was just, honestly, it was more of a hangout. Like, oh, I'm friends with this person, let's go drinking, let's go partying, and then they have a therapy session, then they fight. And it's honestly, even if it was just like a true therapy, couples retreat for therapy, then maybe maybe could have worked. But this, with the scenario for what it truly was, this was designed to honestly make a lot of these couples have more problems than to solve any of the ones that they actually had. But yeah, that's just kind of my thought on the season itself. It was very entertaining, from a fan perspective, very entertaining. For as a person that wants to see like how these couples can better themselves, no. At the end of the day, there's like not many couples on there. I don't think, if any, I would really see should be together. It's it's kind of wild, but yeah. The first couple I kind of want to cover on here is gonna be Natalie and Josh. So, and see, I found it kind of weird that they weren't even at the resort, because throughout their whole entire time together, they were not really a couple. Josh never saw her as a girlfriend. Natalie always viewed him as a boyfriend, but she could never even give him the title because he would not accept it. It was always him treating her like his girl, because he's paying for so many things and saying, "Hey, you should come over here." Like, she moved to different states for the guy, and the dude didn't keep it on the same level. It's like she in her mind, oh, we're gonna get married here, and he's like, we haven't even been on a first date. Like, it's their levels were not matching up at all. It made no sense. They should have at some point sat down and actually talked. Uh, I feel that Natalie was very, after she left Michael, which to me was a very big mistake. I think her and Michael could have been very good together, but she is just, again, the issue with social media, I feel, is as you see so many options, and you think, oh, I could have it all, and that's what I feel was her problem. She was in a when she got with Michael, she came to Washington, I believe it was a state where Michael lives, and it was just very rural for her. She's more, she thinks about the city life, and wants to go partying, and she wants to be a model and be on TV and all this and that. And Michael wasn't that kind of guy. He was like, ready to settle down, have a whole family. And she could have had that. And according to her, that's what she wants. But she wanted her cake and to eat it too. She was just not happy. She wanted Michael to do all these other things, and he wasn't about that, and he wasn't gonna tolerate her actions. So that's why it didn't work out. And she kind of found that out with Josh, that she made a huge mistake, because see, Josh was the type of guy that she would be like, oh yeah, we can go do this and do that. But you see, he wasn't the type to settle down. I felt like she's the type where she holds herself back, and it's like, oh, I don't want to move too fast with you. But with Josh, immediately slept with the guy, and that's all it was. It was, they just kept sleeping with each other, and he never gave it a title. And I think once she gave herself away like that, Josh really lost interest. He's like, oh well, he kind of viewed it more as like a friends with benefits situation. He didn't view it as anything much more than that. I'm not saying he has no feelings towards the girl, but obviously he doesn't care enough to view her as a girlfriend at all. So I kind of felt bad for her in that sense. Like, she should have woken up and be like, hey, this guy's kind of taking advantage of me. Like, I need to, not give myself to him. But she constantly did. And according to him in the tell-all, she's sending him text messages and things like that to hook up. So it's just like, as a guy, if a girl's giving you like the go-ahead, I mean, you're going to take it. So she needs to find a little bit of, and she's a pretty girl, so she should be more secure in herself. But it's just, I feel that she's like, she knows where her age is at. If she wants to have a family, she needs to get that going. And I feel that she wants to just immediately do it with that guy specifically, even though he's not the right guy. She needs to take her time and find that right person for her. But before that, she probably needs to focus on herself, and then maybe she can actually be happy. She needs to find her happiness within herself, so that when she gets the next guy, she can finally fully settle down and then have that family. I mean, yeah, her time is running out to as unfortunately as a female, you have that clock, that time frame that you have to have the child within, because eventually it becomes much harder to have children by a certain age. So I understand where she's coming from, but she needs to focus on herself and get herself ready so that she doesn't have another failure. As for Josh, he didn't want to settle down. He should have. I just think that he should have never strung her along so much, and he should have just been completely honest. Like, hey, I had fun, and just dropped it, because you never had any intention of introducing to your children, bringing you to your house. It's like that was insanity to me. The fact that you would not even like bring her to the house, but you would be paying for all these other things. Like, it must be nice to be able to spend so much money on females that don't mean anything to you. Like that, he must have a lot of excess money to be doing stuff like that. But yeah, that's to me he needs to I would say grow up, but it's like, I've never been at that level money wise where I could be like, it's not a big deal, I'm gonna go have my fun, you know what I mean? So I can't fully judge him for that, but I feel like, don't to me, if you're gonna be that kind of guy where you spend money, don't lie to females. You should just be like, I'm not gonna take you serious. Have your fun, don't take them serious, and let it be known so that the female doesn't waste their time with you. If they want to go along with it, hey, they're going along with it. But don't make it pretend like, it might be your boyfriend. The other thing too with Natalie is, and we saw it throughout the season, is when they were doing a lot of these therapy exercises, Natalie loses her shit. So she can go from 0 to 60 real quick. Like, there was that time that they were camping out, and I guess Josh didn't want to be touched or something like that while he was sleeping, and he was mentioning that to somebody else, and Natalie overheard, and then in her head she thought that he meant that he didn't like her body or something like that. She flipped out on him, tried to hit him, in his privates. It was a lot. Like, she needs to like regulate her emotions. So she needs to focus on that. Do something about it, because she's literally 0 to 60 real quick, and it's not a good thing. The other thing too that I noticed about her, especially at the tell-all, but and I guess it's happened throughout the other series as well, like where she's been at other tell-alls and everything, she seems to say something and everybody else is saying something else. So I don't know if she's a pathological liar or what the case is. And I believe she mentioned something about like when she was in school, like kids would talk about her. So I don't know if it's something that she just starts talking about people and then makes pretend that she doesn't do it, or what the case is. But again, she needs to work on herself so that she can have a happy life. If you have your emotions that way and you come up with lies, you're not going to find happiness. So I hope she focuses on herself better and gets those things regulated so that she can find somebody and actually have that family that she wants. So I'm going to move on to the next couple. And the next couple is going to be Stacy and Florian. So to me, this is just a couple that should have never been. Stacy, I feel, is unfortunately she's aging, and she just can't accept that. And no disrespect to her. I think she at one point was a very attractive woman, but just so many plastic surgeries, and she needs to find happiness within her actual self, so she doesn't do that to herself. Like, I feel she's just not content, and that's why she will continue to do surgery over surgery over surgery. She's never happy with what she sees. and and because of that, she's always going to have a problem. She needs to work on her her feelings, her emotions, so that she can actually be happy. And I think she was trying to find that with a younger guy in Florian. Florian, to me, he's too young for her. He is very immature. Then there's also the fact that it's like a bit of a I don't know if it's a language barrier, because I mean he speaks English, but it's like, sometimes you what she might be saying he doesn't fully get, because it's a bit of a language barrier, and not to mention culturally, his background is different, where his like more macho based where he's from, so he's going to view it as, I'm a man, I don't gotta listen to what you gotta say. Just keep it down. And you're in the United States, so over here we're more, like 50-50 based. I mean, for the most part. And that's a whole different conversation. I don't really want to get into that. But it's like, we try to help each other when you're in a marriage. You try to help each other. It's not like back in the 1950s where the man would run the house fully. I believe a man should be the head of the household? Yeah, I do believe that. But there's but it's a partnership at the end of the day. So you got to run things by each other. That's just how I feel. Like a man is brings in the discipline to the household, and a lot of ideas. But just because the man should lead doesn't mean that he shouldn't take advice from his wife. It's not like whatever I say goes. It's not like that. But I feel like with their relationship, she had to take the lead, because he doesn't have a career. He didn't have no money. It's she's been paying for everything. So I feel like part of it is that he has to like listen to everything that Stacy does, because she has the funds. So if he feels like probably emasculated, and then on top of that, it's just like the age difference is just too much. I think it was fine for dating, having fun, but in a real marriage, it was just never going to work. If they were just going to have fun with one another, fine, do what you want to do at the end of the day. But in a real marriage, it's just not going to work, because he's too young. He wants to have children. He can't have children with her. She's just too old for that. It's she needed to find somebody her own age that can see her for her and be like, oh, and be happy with that. He still wants to go out and club and all this and that, and she's just not about that. She'd rather be at home just chilling with her person, cuddled up. But he's not about that. That's more of in a few years, maybe when he settles down, gets that all out of the system, then he's going to be like, oh, that's what I want. But right now, that's not the case. And she needs to see that. If not, you're going to end up alone. And from what I've seen on social media, it looks like they might have broken up. And to be honest, it's probably for the better. I wish them each the best, but it would be in their best interest not to be together, because they're just too different. The age gap is just not going to work. Not to mention, she seems to be very like a lot of females, to be honest, a lot of focused on therapy and mental health. And I mean, we should all be, no matter your gender. But I feel like a lot of females focus a lot more on that compared to men. Men, we kind of internalize everything. Like I don't know if you've seen those videos online where they ask men, like, who do you turn to when something is like, going horrible in your life? And for the most part, men turn to nobody. You just keep that to ourselves and keep it pushing, because nobody gives a crap about how we feel. So that's usually how it goes. I mean, should it be that way? No. I think you should reach out to a friend or somebody like that. And if it happens to be, you reach out to a therapist, that's great. But for the most part, we just internalize that, or just talk it out with a friend. That's just how it is for men. For women, it always feels like they gotta really go out of their way. That's why I feel like, a lot of this, which a lot of these things that happened during the retreat is just because they're so different. She was willing to give it a shot because she's like, okay, I want this relationship to work. I don't really think that Florian really wants a relationship to work, as I said before. But even if he did want it to work, he doesn't believe in it. And there's a lot of things in therapy in general that I kind of don't believe in either. I feel like when you have couples therapy, you're just asking for problems because you need to figure that out with you and your partner, with one another, compared to involving a third party. Because at some point, that third party is going to have to agree with one or the other. And a lot of the times people take that very personally. They were like, oh, okay, so it's you and him against me, or, vice versa. And it just becomes a problem. So I don't really see couples therapy as a real good thing for a couple. I feel they need to figure it out themselves. And if you can't do that, it really isn't going to work out. I think therapy is great one-on-one, not really as a couple. But, that's just my view on that. As for Florian and Stacy, yeah, they just need to, I feel like they need to break up and let things go, because it's just, there's been so many problems. And even before she got married, there was so many cheating situations and videos. It was like, you don't need that. Like, that was just, like I said, she just is so unhappy that she wants it to work so badly that she was like, okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, no matter the amount of red flags she saw with this guy. So yeah, hopefully they're done and they can find happiness apart. Like I said, she needs to find happiness within herself and find somebody her own age where she can have things in common and make things better. As for him, he needs to grow up. To be real, he just needs to grow up, get his shit together, and find that person for him at some point. Once he's grown up. The next couple, it's gonna be the last couple I'm gonna do in this part one of this video. It's gonna be Brandon and Julia. So Brandon and Julia seem like a sweet couple. They everything seems great with them, but they always seem to be fighting. I feel that Julia is she has a very stubborn streak, and if she doesn't get her way, she throws her tantrums. And Brandon's so laid back that he kind of allows her to walk all over him, and it's a bad thing. He needs to step up and kind of just let it be known, like, hey, you need to relax. He needs to have a backbone. Is what I'm saying. He can't allow her to walk over him, because if that's the case, the relationship is not going to work. And in this season, we've come to find out that she has actually cheated on him, and it's not just once. At the tell-all, she bring up another guy. It wasn't really clear as to the time frame for that one at the tell-all. During the season, though, she's mentioned that she had kissed her ex in Russia. So I guess while they were dating, she had cheated. And to be honest with you, I feel like she just said kissing as to not hurt Brandon. I feel like it went a lot further, and she just doesn't want to admit it. And I think Brandon's also in denial, because he's the type that cares about her so much that he'd rather live in denial than to accept it for what it is. I feel like he cares about her so much that he's willing to overlook things that normally he wouldn't put up with, but he loves her that much that he's putting up with it. I feel like she's a city girl. She likes to go out, party. She wants a fast lifestyle, and Brandon's not is not about that lifestyle. He's originally from a farm country, like farmlands, and like his family, that's what they have, is a farm. When they showed his parents and stuff, which seemed like one of the nicest couples on there, his mom and dad seem super sweet, super nice. But yeah, I feel like he should be on farmersonly.com. Like farmersonly.com. Yeah, like needs to be on there. Probably find somebody for him compared to being like on Tinder or something like that. Like I feel Julia is way too advanced for him, and she's just not, willing to listen to what he has to say at all. Like they move when she wants to move. They buy houses when she wants. She wants to do this. She wants to do that. Like she even now is bringing her parents without even letting him know. It's not wrong for her to want to bring her parents. I understand that you don't have anybody in this country. I get that. But the way she went about it was very disrespectful and didn't take into consideration anything about him. I feel she throws tantrums to get what she wants, and she's kind of like a kid. She is very much a little kid, and she needs to grow up if she wants this relationship to work. And if Brandon doesn't put his foot down, at some point she's just gonna get everything that she wants, and he's not gonna get anything out of this. And one of the things it seems that he really wants is to have kids, and she's not really about that. And I guess through the season, we find out that it's because at some point she went to the doctor, and the doctor told her it's not gonna be possible, and he prefers to get a second opinion. But to be honest with you, if you guys don't have a good relationship now, it's probably best you don't have children. So it might be a blessing that you don't have kids with her right now. I think you need to get your stuff together with her. Forget, if you can't get over the cheating past, which again, don't know how true just kissing parts were, and if she did even more with another person, and where that fell in the time frame, as they were saying in the tell-all, because that could have been after, after this last resort, after they left the last resort. She could have done it then. Who knows? According to her, she said that she didn't do anything through the marriage, but I honestly do not believe her. So, and that's just me, as from what I'm seeing on TV, let alone for him who's in the relationship. So I feel that he should let it go, or honestly let her go. And the way that she seems to be, I think your best option might be to let her go. You need to find, I guess, a more a girl that's more in your speed, with your kind of views. And because Julia doesn't seem to be that type of girl. So like I said, she wants things her way, her lifestyle. She wants it fast. She wants to go have fun. And you seem to be like more, I'm happy here doing this and doing that. So yeah, he needs to let, I believe he needs to let her go. So this is where I'm gonna cut off the video. I'm gonna talk about the rest of the couples in the part 2. Just write down in the comments, what do you think about what I said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you seen anything new with any of these couples in social media? Let me know. So just let me know what are your thoughts, and I'm gonna catch you guys in part 2. Peace.